Okay, let's do it. What's going on, everybody? This is Future Automation, and welcome to the second podcast. Here we have Devyani Chowdhury here with us, and we are going to create a Hitchhiker's guide for the future of software development. So, welcome Devyani with us, and I am really excited for this podcast. So, before going forward with a lot of discussions and question and answers, would you like to give a short intro about yourself and the background of how you came into software development and yeah, something about that as well.
Sure. Well, I usually don't go with normal introductions. I'm more of a comic person. So I fell into software development. I didn't really choose it. But now that I have gotten this much time, I have been in software development for 7 years now, right after my graduation, because I did my graduation in mechanical engineering. So thereafter went through three companies to now find out that yes, I really love software development. So I have still stayed and grown in it. Um, Basically, my tech background is as weird as it gets. I have worked on a plethora of technologies, and my recent experience was with Node.js, React.js, and AWS mostly. Um, that's it.
You being a comic person, I think it's quite visible from the background. So
Thank
I
you.
guess you like I guess you like animes a lot.
I used to. These are one of those things that
Yeah,
I picked up from
exactly.
college. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's get great background.
yeah,
Okay, so thanks for the intro and let's get into it. So with the people getting lot into software development from lot different streams and software development getting too much accessible, people are having lot of misconceptions as well about software developments. So I have seen people getting mad with lot of buzzwords and getting worried about what I'll do. These guys are doing this, these guys are doing that. I'm pretty confused and I'm having a lot of misconceptions. So what have you seen in throughout the career till now? What all misconceptions you have seen and you would like to demystify them, like clear them out so that people can get an idea, okay, this is not this, and we can go in a way what they are trying to explain, and they can get aligned with this misconceptions and get out of it. What do you
sure.
think about that?
Being a production engineer myself, my first misconception used to be that software engineers don't really do anything. They just sit and in front of a screen and they mint money. But that is
Copy
so
paste.
so not true. I mean, when I finally got into this field and I finally understood that okay, I am in a completely different game. So we are not just people who are interacting with machines. We are also teaching machines to interact between themselves. So
Correct.
what I find in software developers these days is, and even when my training was going on, I first joined Infosys and we had a 4 month training. They focused on the languages. So obviously they need people who are good with those languages so that they can map them to proper projects. And it did help me a lot. But knowing the basics of computer science, uh, how does RAM work? How does SSD works? How our data, how the caching is done? L1, L2, L3. Uh, all those basic things that even I don't know. I'm literally learning those things now that I know that these are also very important. The database throughputs, the indexation, all these things. Uh, you first need to go into the basics real deep. You have to know how your browser works, how is memory being managed, and if all these concepts are clear, automatically software development becomes a lot easier. Language is
Mhm.
just some icing on the top. So it doesn't matter
Correct.
if you are doing Lisp. Lisp was once very famous. Doesn't matter if you are doing Lisp or you are doing PHP or Golang or whatever you are doing. But if you know
Mhm.
the basics, it's all worth it.
Correct.
Secondly, I see some people, giving a bad rep around DSA, data structures and
Mhm.
algorithms. I know that it's not that important when it comes to day-to-day life. I mean, when you are a programmer and you're just given a bug to fix, DSA might not be helping you each and every day. But think about these scenarios where you have a lot of data coming from the UI and you have to sort
Mhm.
through them and find desirable user actions, features that
Correct.
will give a better customer experience, a better what do you call that, code throughput. So,
Hmm.
if you know DSA, you know these intrinsic algorithms, if you know design
Correct.
patterns,
Hmm.
that is amazing. So, all these things together helps a developer, a coder turn into a better developer. You're
Correct.
more responsible. You become easier to work with. So
Correct.
one of those misconceptions that I would like incoming software developers to not have is overlooking the fundamentals. Don't overlook the fundamentals. They are really, really
Correct.
important.
Correct, correct. So yeah, you're right. I think the DSAs and the design patterns don't look too much when we are working on smaller chunks. But when you look at the bigger picture and you want to draw, like make it in a small task, and you want to make sure, okay, this is a big, tool or big product that we are making. At that time, I think DSAs and design patterns help you a lot to drill it down to a shorter task and short-term goals, and then make sure they are being achieved on the right time. So that is, I think, what is the usually the upcoming software engineers need to understand, because a lot of big companies, they are asking for DSAs and denial patterns, but the new guys are like, okay, we are not using it anywhere. Why they are still asking? Ask us code and we'll write it out. But I think the main reason why they want to ask is to bring you the thought process of thinking and looking at a big picture, and then being able to architect that product even though you are not working as an architect. So that ability should be inculcated in everyone. I think that is why they are expecting that you should have that kind of mindset in them.
Yep.
So I think that is one thing that people are struggling today, is that how to keep up with updated tech. A lot of things coming in with once in a time when Python came in, it suddenly got boosted out, and then people are like, everyone is Python, Python, Python. The data science is Python, the network engineering is Python, IoT is Python, everything is Python. But
Yep.
suddenly, I think then later on, Go came in. Go started, making its way in between. Go is now a lot of APIs, a lot of SDKs are also supporting Go. Recently, I have created a video which was about Docker SDK. So Docker has created a new SDK. They have also started supporting Go. So I think Go also made its way out, and then people suddenly, okay, now we were working with Python. What we'll do? We need to learn Go. We need to learn Rust. Rust also came in. Then we have Flutter as a framework. We have Node as so a lot of again frameworks are being supported by JS. So the question for a lot of newcomers is how to keep up and how to decide what to do. So there is a lot of confusion as well. What to do? I'll learn Mern stack. I'll learn only one language. What about the cloud? What about the data analysis? So a lot of confusion is there, including me again. So this is my question as well, including the other software engineers who are coming in, how to keep up with the latest tech and how to understand what to choose, right?
Okay, I will be breaking this question down to three parts. The first one being how to keep up. So, I feel like LinkedIn altogether has become a very nice source of information. People send out blog posts and stuff like that. There are so many newsletters as well. Like I follow one that is called TLDR, and that has so much of information in it, starting from what Apple is doing versus the latest package that came in data science. It has everything in it. So if you just pull in like 15 minutes of your day and just go through that newsletter, whatever topic you find is interesting to you, you can go through that and probably dig deeper. But when it comes to, okay, now I'm going to the second question. When it comes to figuring out what technology you want to really learn, I don't think there's any right answer. So whatever is going on, it's hot right now. It won't be in a couple of months. You remember metaverse was a big thing, and now people are barely talking about it. They are all talking about AI. I mean, Google's I/O was entirely about AI. I don't think I heard any other word apart from AI in that entire the conference.
Yes, yes.
And
Yeah.
all the amazing things that they are doing, they are not creating those things by programming languages. They are creating those things by knowledge. So having whatever language you want. Suppose you like how easy Python is. It's not wrong to go deep into Python. Go deep into Python.
Correct.
There is a lot of things that you can learn when you learn pandas on NumPy or those libraries. You have a lot
Mm,
of nuances to go through. You can build amazing logic using Python, but I have heard it's a
mm,
carbon intensive programming language. It takes up a lot of energy. So people went through the lighter languages. Uh, all the way they came down to Java. I see people. I actually hosted a what do you call it? A poll in LinkedIn mentioning
mhm,
that which programming language do you think is the best? And I had Node.js, Java, .NET. So I started off as a .NET developer, so .NET, Python. I was surprised to see that Java won. So out of all those languages, I also said that okay, if you like anything else, comment it down, and people like
mm,
Java. And so it doesn't matter which technology you are going into. Just pick up a language, have your expertise in it. I have friends who just have. So I have one friend who has complete experience. His complete experience in Angular, nothing else. He had some experience in Java. He left that area. He just stayed
mhm.
with UI development and Angular. He
Okay.
has a total of 7 years of experience and he is amazing at it. I mean, he's irreplaceable in his team. Even though Angular has lost traction a lot in front of React
Mm,
right now, but still
correct.
he's doing amazing work out there. No one can
Correct.
beat him. So if you can be
Mm,
that way, if you can be the best in something, you don't really need to think about the language. Choose whatever
correct.
you want, whatever you like. If you're good at
Correct.
JavaScript, I think JavaScript has a lot of open source. So then comes the third part that so many languages that are coming in, what one can probably choose. So I think
Correct.
a lot of because while my time in these different companies, I have seen that the only thing that we are constantly doing is Googling syntaxes. So
Correct.
if you have a good online community, online support of a language, a package, of a software, probably Selenium is one of those tools that a lot of people use in different along with different languages to test their web applications, right? If it
Mm,
didn't have community support, if it didn't have all the people answering those questions in Stack Overflow, even in their own versions of Stack Overflow, there are different versions, right? We have Medium as well. Medium is a great place to look for
correct.
inspiration,
Correct.
proper definitions. Then
Yes.
you can go forward and ask those questions online and find those answers. So
Correct.
choose a language that has good community support, and I think ChatGPT has made it really easy right now to actually get
Yes.
these guidelines. So I was trying
Mm,
to recapture those days back when which I missed about the basics of programming, the ones that I was talking about, how
correct.
computers work and stuff like that. I asked ChatGPT, okay, what do you think a newcomer in software engineering should be doing? And it gave me a very
Correct.
nice list. I posted that on my
Mm,
LinkedIn as well, and that helped me. That helped me navigate a lot. I knew a few things, I didn't know a few things, and I got my way out. So you can ask the,
correct.
ChatGPT that which one do you think has the most resources aligned to it in the
Mm,
current era of software development. It'll spit
correct.
out
Correct.
Java or Node.js. Go for it.
Yeah, correct. I remember your poll. I think I voted for Python.
Oh,
So
okay.
I am a bit biased when it comes to Python. I don't know why, because I have used it a lot. I think since my college days. So, but Java is something else. We cannot compare those two because Java is like a, is like a old experience guy who is
In
who
front of us.
sometimes you sometimes when needed it guides the new guys. So I think Java cannot be compared directly with Python. Java is Java at the end of the day, and Python is Python when it comes to comparison. So since you have mentioned again that Google AI, so we will be going to AI. Before that, I just want to ask you one question, and that is, how was your experience working with GitHub? And there is a follow-up question to that, and that this is something that I think a lot of people might listen very carefully because there is a need for the answer, although they already have an answer. So GitHub is one of the biggest platform when it comes to collaboration of for software development. So what do you think is the importance of that software collaboration, and how do you think that helps to companies to make awesome products? So first one is how was your experience in GitHub, and how important do you think is the software collaboration, and how it helps different people, companies, new software development, and why do they need to learn software collaboration? So I think I have asked three questions in one.
That's good. That's good. And I can have a fluid answer.
Yes.
So my experience with working at GitHub was more like I think I have mentioned this analogy before as well. It's like eating pani
Yeah.
puri.
Yes.
So it has so many flavors around it. No? It was an amazing experience. And had this journey not been cut short, I would have loved to go through many years at GitHub. But that's okay. That's a part of life, and we have to accept that. But overall, right from the day of joining, I had worked as a vendor of Microsoft before, and
Hmm.
I heard that okay, GitHub acquisition has happened. It was in 2018, I guess.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, so I was thinking that probably I'll have an environment as similar to the corporate environment of Microsoft, but it was not that. It was so calming,
Hmm.
so refreshing all over. The people were nice, they were knowledgeable. So there were people who came from MS, there were people who were hired directly. I was one of the people who were hired directly at GitHub. So we didn't know all these languages that GitHub was working with. There's ROR,
Correct.
there's Node.js, so many things, React.js. I had experience in React, Python, .NET, but not Node.js.
Hmm.
And when I came in, the entire company, it's not just me, everyone who joined along with me, all the batches that were happening at that time. Uh, it was a fluid experience. They onboarded us very nicely. They upskilled us very nicely. There was a good time for us to settle down. And then when the development started, the collaboration with all these people, and that's where I'm coming on to the second point, where we
Mhm.
talk about collaboration. Um, Rome wasn't built in one day or by one person.
Correct.
Let's
Correct.
face it, that great software cannot be created alone. If you give a person
Correct.
a project like create LinkedIn, probably a doppelganger of LinkedIn, they
Hmm.
go ahead and create it in their vision. They haven't done
Correct.
any research, so they don't know how to do
Yes.
research on UX, on what users need. For that, you need certain people who are experienced in it.
Correct.
Probably you went forward and learned it on ChatGPT, the buzzword right now. uh,
Hmm.
what would they probably do? They'll give you some resources so that you can learn it on your own. How long
Correct.
do you think it will take for a single person, to create LinkedIn doppelganger completely end to end? It will
Correct.
probably take
Correct.
him years. I mean, by then LinkedIn will be probably in metaverse, and we will be dealing with 3D
Yeah.
humans,
Yes.
and we
Correct.
will be having flying cars outside. So
Yeah.
now the thing is that despite of having a full stack developer, of someone who knows it all, there is still caveats. There are still caveats that one needs to work through. The project needs to work through. People need to come together, ideate,
Hmm.
create the architecture, create a backbone, to get the resources, make those decisions. Should it be monolithic, microservice based, stuff like that. And having people with
Correct.
different experiences, and having those experiences getting inculcated into whatever you're creating today, is the main
Hmm.
focus of agile development, and the software development collaboration all over. And you can't
Correct.
really ignore that. So
Hmm.
if you are using whatever platform you're using, it could be GitHub, it could be Bitbucket, it could be GitLab, but the main thing is to have a streamlined way of approach of software development, that
Correct.
helps you also, as well as the software itself, whatever you are creating,
Hmm.
whatever feature you're developing. uh, how can you, a lone software development developer, get that advantage? Well, that comes from the first experience I ever had. I
Correct.
was a newbie in tech in IT.
Hmm.
Before that, we had a training of languages. We learned Python, we
Hmm.
learned .NET. We were posted to Pune. So over here,
Hmm.
we didn't have any projects. I actually kept running around managers to get me a project because everyone else was happy sitting on bench.
Correct.
I wanted something to
Hmm.
do. I mean, I was getting crazy.
Correct.
So I
Yeah.
asked for a project, and then I was given a project in which the other people didn't know that I was a fresher. I don't look fresher type at that time. So, so they at first they started saying that you don't know anything. How do you not know anything?
Hmm.
Later on, they realized that I was a fresher. Then they came in and helped me like anything. I mean, that
Okay.
in those 6 months of my experience, I have learned so much that I still
Hmm.
borrow from that experience, and that is where collaboration is. So if you're team
Correct.
lead, if you're senior, even
Hmm.
1 year senior to you, even 2 months senior to you, can help you so much, which I
Correct.
don't think anywhere else is available. I don't think any other
Hmm.
industry has that much fluidity online as well as IT does. So use it to your
Correct.
best
Correct. Correct.
outreach actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think first, say 4, 5, 6 years, give or take 2 years. I think it's really important that you have the ability to learn anything from anyone, big or small, and set up the foundation of that habit of of learning anything, getting adapted to anything, and that can help a lot to the developer throughout his career in IT. So I think, yeah, that's a really good explanation what you gave, and it will help surely for me as well. Okay, so since now we have AI coming up a lot. So let's get into AI, how that is going to, deal with the software development industry, how people are going to get affected and all that stuff. So first, and the very common question that I think you would also be expecting is about ChatGPT. How do you think ChatGPT will affect the software development industry? And do you really think that people should be afraid of it, or they should get aligned with it?
You know why I started looking here and there?
I think it is like, no, 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 it's not like that.
No, 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 no. I am looking for a rubber duck. Here's my rubber duck.
Okay.
ChatGPT is just that. It's a rubber duck. So just a
Hmm.
rubber duck that can reply back to you. So
Correct.
when it comes to language learning models, these models
Hmm.
are they are well versed in human interactions. They have gone through so many online forums to train themselves.
Correct.
All over the internet, whatever is available on the internet, they have access. They have had access to. I have seen a lot of uh, of answers from ChatGPT that said that okay, I have information till this cutoff date, so till then this didn't happen, or till then okay, this development was going on that I'm aware of. So till whatever point they have been learned well versed in, you can expect so much from ChatGPT till those points. Like suppose you are let's take a non-IT example. Let's suppose you are just asking them that okay, I wanted to get as many good holiday offers as I can. I want to buy presents for my friends and peers. Then ChatGPT can go ahead and say that okay, we understand you're looking for discounts, but I don't have data till now. And what was I saying initially? Yeah. So they can help you up till a certain point. So in development, in web development, in software development altogether, you need something to bounce ideas off. In this remote
Correct.
culture of ours, remember those days when we used to go to office and we had a problem, we went to somebody's desk, we started
Correct.
talking to them that okay, I'm having these problems, can you have you faced these as well? So they'll be giving you a certain set of instructions that you need to do in order to solve it, and then you sit there and start gossiping with them for next 1.5 hours, and then you completely forget about what they have said, asked you
Correct.
to do in order to solve your problem.
Hmm.
ChatGPT, on the other hand, will not distract you like that. They will keep
Hmm.
you on the topic, thus saving you a lot of
Correct.
time. to get out and go somewhere else to get that answer. And even in your virtual world, whatever we are working right now, we usually ping someone else. So I had complete work from home. So I used to ping my colleagues who were probably at that time, they were not online. I used to start up really early.
Hmm.
And my
Hmm.
colleagues used to start a little bit later. And as soon as they
Hmm.
log in, if I bombard them with questions, they will not find
Correct.
time to, get used to their day,
Correct.
whatever they are planning for that day. So they will probably reply
Correct.
me a little bit later. Now, but
Correct.
if I ask ChatGPT the same thing, uh,
Hmm.
nothing about the company specific things like, okay, where do I get this access for you, all those things,
Correct.
but just
Hmm.
that, okay, in AWS I am facing this problem. Now, is there a
Correct.
way to solve it?
Hmm. Correct.
All of a sudden I get an idea from ChatGPT that, okay, instead of using SQS, use SNS, and that solved my
Hmm.
problem. They and
Correct.
along with that, they even gave me a URL, maybe
And the
proper code
reference.
in Node.js,
Hmm.
or yeah, a reference point
Correct.
that I
Hmm.
can start with. So in
Hmm.
that situation, why will I not use that?
Correct.
A
Correct.
lot of people have been scared about this situation that they are
Hmm.
actually spitting out code. But think about this situation that suppose they have spit out code. They have created. I think that was a meme as well. That somebody says that your job is done for, and I have created a web page without any coding experience. I have done that using
Yeah.
ChatGPT,
Yeah.
and they are said, okay, show me the website, and they sent an index.html page from their local. They just copied their address and gave them, and there you go. You can ask ChatGPT to create a website for you. They have created good websites actually. To my
Hmm.
surprise, I actually was doing some CSS work the other day. I'm not so much of a front end developer, so I was learning
Hmm.
CSS, and ChatGPT gave me a bunch of directions as to what to read and what not to read. I went forward, read those things. They gave me proper CSS code and everything, but to divide them in files, to make the code structure good enough for any developer to go ahead and just check and understand that, okay, this CSS is for this file,
Correct.
this JavaScript file, JSX file is for this JS file,
Hmm.
index.html is where I start. Uh, some people go ahead and just change the names of stuff and just refer them in the package.json file. So all those things, all those nitty gritty
Hmm.
things, how on earth will ChatGPT at its current limitations
Stage.
do that?
Hmm. Hmm.
They can't.
Correct. Correct.
So it always
Yeah.
has to be a developer. So you are not
Yeah.
losing, nobody's losing their jobs. Calm down. It's
Hmm.
all going to be
Hmm.
good. And plus, you have somebody, a friend to work with. Have your friend.
Correct.
Introverts like me
Yeah.
always love this.
Yeah, no, no. So good news, no jobs are going. But I think, yeah, one thing I realized that we should learn to use such kind of tools. Not, of course, with the sensitive information, but we should be aware of where we can use them and use leverage their skills to make sure that our work is a bit easier than one. So once, as you mentioned, that about the website using ChatGPT. So recently, like few days back, I was working on one of the how to use AI tools to create a website. So one of the guy he created a video. So there is a tool called Midjourney, which is I think you might have heard already. So it basically what it does is it uses prompts to create images out of that prompts, and they are like very high quality crystal clear images that it is creating. So what he did is he used Midjourney, and there is one software I don't remember, use editor or something like that, to create a no code low code kind of websites, and ChatGPT, and using these three, in around 18 or 20 minutes he created a single page website. So it surely makes your job easy, but I think at the end of the day, you should be there to understand what things are necessary out of what the AI has already done, and to make sure that the code and the structure of the files are well well planned based on the policies that company that you're working in has mentioned it. So but it was quite amazing what he has done. So I got a bit fan of that tool, and I tried to subscribe, but they have stopped the subscription because a few of the people are using it not for the good reason again. So that's why they have stopped the free subscription and they have started the paid one.
AI has
Yeah.
actually
So
become like the Flash from the DC universe. The only
yeah.
limitation that it has is bad actors. I mean, DC. I don't know if you have heard that much in DC
Of
universe, but
course,
yeah,
of course. I'm a really bad fan of both Marvel and DC. And the only thing that I hate about DC is the bad characters because they have huge stories, but they are not selecting the right characters, and they are leaving the good ones actually.
yeah. And plus, Flash, whatever. That we are going to the comic book era, and
Yeah,
if I
people,
start talking about that, this entire topic will be water. So
yeah, yeah, it will go to 2 3 hours. I don't know because I
yeah.
have also a lot of insights about Flash, but we'll leave it aside. Okay, so yeah, here's another question in the AI field. That is, I want to ask you about Bard, which Google, I don't know whether it messed up or what, or maybe it was about the restrictions and how did it work. But what do you think about Bard? And do you think that ChatGPT is better than Bard, or they both even out sometime in the future? What do you think about
Okay. Well, Bard, for me, Bard was just it was like a little brother kind of ChatGPT. It felt like that at first, but it caught up real fast. And I think a lot of that depends on the amount of investment that has been poured into AI as soon as ChatGPT came in and all these became mainstream. We had
it?
DALI too. So at that time, nobody was actually looking at AI as such a big either threat or a boon or whatever we call it. But
Correct.
as soon as ChatGPT hit them, people started using it so much. I think the whole uh, environment around it, the ecosystem changed, and that is
Correct.
where Google, I guess, had to go back and go full into the AI space, and they had to make major investments in it. And because of that, Bard improved so nicely, so smoothly into whatever it is right now. And people are actually now comfortable into creating videos around which one is better, Bard or ChatGPT.
Correct.
When they
Hmm.
got, I think there are channels like TechWiser and other good channels that are
Hmm.
actually they had the access that exclusive access for Bard, and they started creating those videos. At that time only,
Hmm.
it 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 was obvious that Bard has already come along a lot too, and there is a limit
Correct.
up till which AI
Hmm.
can be grown responsibly. So I think
Hmm.
at that limit, both will be similar, and it will just be a an ecosystem thing. It's like Android and iOS. So it will become the
Hmm.
same way. So like if you have the money for it, you can have the best in Android. You can have the best ecosystem in Android along with Windows, and similarly in iOS, you can have the best ecosystem in Apple space. So
Correct.
similarly, AI will also go down the same path. It will be the best ecosystem, like with Google's everything. So it will be like what is that they called it? They had Palm, they had
Hmm.
MedPalm, they had SecPalm, all these things, which is
Hmm.
actually
Right.
a step over ChatGPT OpenAI right now, where they actually focus on those use cases, detecting
Hmm.
diseases before they can even happen. Go through X-rays. I think Google has been doing for this for a long time. I've
Yes.
seen
Yes.
this
Yes.
same kind of demonstration before as well. They were just not, that much into it unless somebody else
Hmm.
started trying into it. And now
Correct.
that they
Correct.
have, Google can go full in. They can
Hmm.
completely change the ecosystem for it for the better.
Correct.
We have
Hmm.
automatic replies. I think now even Bard can write replies for you for an email,
Hmm.
like the one that Sundar showed in IO. That if
Correct.
I want a full refund, give a concise reply versus a long form
Correct.
reply. We have been seeing that in
Hmm. Yeah.
Bing searches as well. that if you want a concise one
Hmm.
or a professional one or a more creative
Correct.
reply.
Hmm.
So similarly, depending on the personality and all this now, if you see a little bit deeper into it, it's all the type of personalities that humans have. So a
Correct.
person can be more formal, they can be more creative, they can be just normal, no BS people. So if we
Hmm.
go down those paths, I think AI is developing itself into more of a humane standard, and there is just that much human you
Hmm.
can be. So at
Correct.
one point, you will have this choice that you want to go in Microsoft OpenAI ecosystem, or do you want to go in Google AI ecosystem? And
System.
I
Correct.
think both the choices will be very nice.
Correct, correct. So I think one thing that I realized when ChatGPT came and there was a lot of buzz around Google is in code red, and things are messing around. So one thing I realized that I'm not sure whether I'm right or not wrong because I'm not that kind of expert to do such analysis. But what I understand is Microsoft is really smart when it comes to business and acquiring things. They are really, really very smart, and Google is smart, but what mistake I think they did was putting their hands in too much things. Then what they can catch up if things go south. So that is where I think Google made a mistake, but I think they have understood or might be realized and they have started working on these topics. Because even acquiring GitHub, I think was one of the smartest choice that Microsoft has done. And people cursing Microsoft of not doing anything for open community and not doing anything for open source. They're just doing business and all that. I think Microsoft give it a sweet and tight slap on other species, I can say. But yeah, again, Microsoft at the end of the day is a business organization. They do what they do. From a business point of view, they do what they do is really great. And business, I think Google needs to understand that as well, because technically Google is very smart, because they have huge data, and that is one thing that they stand ahead of others. They don't have to go around asking for data because they have the data itself. So Google has to utilize it very well, is what I can understand. But let's see, both are trying to get in AI space some or the other way, and we'll get something good out of it, of course. So yeah, going forward. This is the place where we start discussing about how AI will change software development, and that is introduction of Copilot in GitHub. How do you think? What first of all, what is Copilot for the newbies, including me? Again, I have not fully checked what Copilot is, but I have read a bit. So, what is Copilot in a newbies possible way, and how do you think that will change the way we collaborate, the way we develop software, and the way we work with GitHub as as specific, and then generally how do we work with it?
Okay. So when it comes to Copilot, you have to understand this as a person who's developing, who's new in development. Suppose completely oblivious of the world, they come in and they start developing. They don't know that they have created a React app. Somehow they have found out that MPX create React app is something that command that they can run, and they can have an entire set of um, React files being created and the app.js being created and the
Hmm.
website coming up in the on the screen. Now
Hmm.
they have to go from that screen all the way to the product that has been asked of them, or maybe they are thinking of
Hmm.
building themselves, but they have no idea about React. So they
Correct.
will go for a course. The course will be like $500. Well,
Correct.
not that costly nowadays, but yeah, that will cost them something.
Some
And
amount. Yeah.
yeah, some amount. And then
Hmm.
after going through all that rigorous training, so much, knowing so much, maybe 40 hours of courses, they will finally come up with, yeah, okay, I know what React is, I know how hooks work, this work, that work. And then they come back to that coding screen and they go blank. They don't know what to do. So
Correct.
Copilot helps them in that at that time. So they can just put in a comment. saying that okay, this is what I'm thinking of creating at this point. So suppose I commented that create an application that has a normal navigation bar. So it will go ahead and create a get ask me to import navbar, and they will create that
Hmm.
line that okay, this is how navbars are usually defined, and this is
Correct.
all from open source. So everything that has been out there on the internet, it doesn't interact with any private repositories or private code that is probably in some company's server somewhere. It will not
Correct.
touch those things, just only the things that
Hmm.
are already available outside. And even till
Outside.
date, I use Copilot. Yes, I use Copilot
Hmm.
just sometimes, like I told you, right? I was learning CSS. So
Hmm.
at that time, some things
Hmm.
I didn't understand. I didn't understand that why my position attribute was not working correctly. I commented that okay, in
Hmm.
these two components, my position attribute is not working properly, and it actually gave me the result that okay, I think that this
Hmm.
one should be relative, this one should be absolute. So you have
Correct.
reversed that. And secondly, it gave me a YouTube video, a link to a YouTube video that defines and properly explains what positions do.
Oh,
So
okay.
now in that scenario, just imagine if a newbie is there and they don't know where to look for. They kind of think that YouTube is just for people to have some entertainment, and they don't know that there
Hmm.
is some good video out there. They will
Correct.
still be looking for a long time. They will be going into Google,
Yes.
chat,
Hmm.
go to Stack Overflow, places like that. So Copilot actually helps you pilot your application. It is your
Correct.
friend in piloting that application. And let's
Hmm.
just keep it uh, that way only. It's not taking up your job. It's not. And
Correct.
I've seen productivity increase multifolds because of Copilot. One example is
Hmm.
I usually take a lot of time. Okay, whenever
Hmm.
I'm developing, I take a lot of time thinking about how clean my code is. Am I
Correct.
using the right objects? Am I using the right components when it comes to UI? Am I
Hmm.
using the right objects when it comes to backend? Things like that. So while all
Hmm.
that thinking, sometimes forget what my class that I was creating should have been like. So I used to comment
Correct.
things out that okay, this is for
Hmm.
like in Python, I think that is triple slash for giving an entire function definition. I think it spits that out,
Hmm.
and you can fill up your own
Hmm.
definition over there. So I used to do that a lot.
Hmm.
So now,
Hmm.
when Copilot came in, for the longest time, I didn't even think about using Copilot because I thought that kya hai, kya hoga. But then when I
Yeah.
started using it, one of my colleagues actually suggested that that is why your PR takes a day or two. Other
Hmm.
colleagues actually can raise PRs in that same day. And I was like, how
Okay.
fast they are. And then they started sharing this screen to me that we were working together. I saw that they're Copilot on. So yeah, sometimes I get good ideas from it. I say, why not? Why not? I will
Okay.
use this. So whenever then
Yeah.
Copilot started seeing that I'm using something, a functionality, creating a functionality that
Hmm.
is a little bit more complex, it will spit out the code, and then my eyes will only see that okay, this is something that should not be here. It's violating
Correct.
this solid principles, this that. I'll create
Hmm.
shift it to another class, maybe a utility class or something. And I have those
Correct.
insights because my mind is now free from thinking about the
Hmm.
nitty gritties of things. So yeah,
Correct.
I think
Correct.
that's where I have personally benefited from Copilot.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's really a great tool to use with what we do, and it really helps everyone But again, people should be able to align with that and try to leverage the ability that it is having to make sure that they are increasing their productivity rather than worrying about it. So yeah, I think that was really great explanation. One thing I just wanted to ask about is again, that was the follow-up question that I asked you. That was how do you think all these tools, including Copilot, of course, ChatGPT, and others that are coming up in the very future, how do you think you see software development as a process in coming, 4 to 5 years?
So in coming 4 to 5 years, it's actually things are moving so fast that if I say this right now and then after 4 to 5 years I come back to this video, and I'm going to come back to this video to see what I said has actually come up or not. It actually reminds me of those times when we used to create test suits. So I was working in a project where we used to create a huge test suit that used to run, that we had to manually put in our YAML file, and that was that YAML back then. We used to put in a pipeline, so we were using Azure.
Mm.
A few years ago, we were doing automation using putting everything in pipeline and writing all those test cases, checking if our scripts had any malicious, any confidential data going in, any system data going in. So all these things
Correct.
were pretty, we had to do it manually. We had to check everything. Then came in
Yes.
these automated flows where
Yeah.
the test cases would run automatically. The report will be generated is the one that will activate your PR. Before that, nobody can go
Correct.
ahead and approve, which people were doing before that,
Mm.
and so on and so forth. There were so many problems that were coming in, but now those things have streamlined. I think similarly, when it comes to AI, it has this immense power of computation. So suppose you have raised a PR and you know that you kind of knew that there were some problems, okay, with it,
Mm.
that it is not properly refactored. You'll probably need to come back to it and refactor it again. But
Correct.
while you have nowadays the PR and it is under review or anything, you get those insights, PR insights on the
Mm.
side of your PR.
Correct.
That okay,
Correct.
this could have been put into this class. I'm doing this
Mm.
for you probably, and you can just upload the PR into your own branch, and then
Correct.
your branch is up to date. You didn't have to do anything. Your AI buddy helped you do it.
Mm.
So even though the main nitty-gritties of that logic, those security concerns, probably you're creating a form that has a lot of security around support. Suppose like a few months ago, I was creating a support form in NPM, and over there we had a
Correct.
lot of nitty-gritties into it. That those things are okay. They had to be added into the backend. So I did all that. I used my colleagues' help as well. They had previously worked on something similar, got their insights and
Mm.
everything. But had I not had that colleague, had I not had that exposure from them, how will I get that?
Correct.
I'll get that from AI
Mm.
probably. They will help me in
Correct.
these PRs, and they will not ask me to, buy them a coffee the next time because I use their help, which is something fun we always do. If you need
Yeah.
help, you'll have to buy the coffee next time when we meet. And that's why I can tell you that I'm taking you to Starbucks. So now
Mm.
these things, where the AI buddy comes from, they will help you. They will definitely help you, and
Mm.
I think that is what AI's role is. They will be a
Yeah.
companion for different things that we are doing,
Correct.
probably content creation also. So
Yeah.
suppose like nowadays I think MKBHD started that trend that okay, this entire video script that I'm writing and talking about, this is created generated by ChatGPT, and
Correct.
so on and so forth. A lot of content creators started using it. I think
Yeah.
recently one of my friends actually reached out to me to know about how ChatGPT or similar AI tools can help them write a copywriting software. So
Mm.
all these things have become much more easy to discuss as well.
Correct. Correct.
Suppose I have a friend who was working in law. They didn't have any tech exposure at all, but now they are getting that tech
Mm.
exposure because of
Correct.
AI. And I think
Correct.
that's a good place to be. And that is where we are going in
Yeah.
5 years. We are going towards a mutual society where we have a friend at our side all the time who can
Correct.
help us do things better. Not probably not replace
Mm.
us, but do things better.
Correct, correct. Yeah, I think content creation, I think a lot of help has been done by ChatGPT as well as the other AI tools, as I was explaining about the Mid Journey as well. So there is Leonard AI as well that is also doing same thing what Mid Journey is doing, creating images out of prompts. So content creation has been scaled up a lot, or maybe it has become very fast. So one thing I remember that there is a company called Pictory.ai. What they will do is now once this recording is done, so we can upload the video in the picture AI, and what it'll do is it'll create a script of that video or video to text, and then wherever you think that okay, these words are not right and I need to remove this section, you delete the words and that part of the video will be deleted. So it's a really awesome product. So my brother works in that company, so I was aware of that, and it's a really awesome product. I have seen it, and I have used it. I think for smaller videos as well. So it's really what amazing what AI can do, and I think soon the content processing will also become very easier with different AI tools that Adobe has released recently with Premiere Pro and with the I think Photoshop content aware tools. I think it will totally change the game with what we work. So yeah, that is one thing. One thing I want to ask about is in the time when you were, of course, in GitHub, is that all this community and collaboration stuff. How did that influenced you, and what you want to share with people who are watching? How those things influenced you as a developer, and how your mindset or thought process might have changed with the time while working in such kind of environment.
Okay, so while my time at GitHub, the one thing that I got from my colleagues and my manager and all this, I think after the layoff happened, I also posted in my LinkedIn about all my colleagues who were there working
Mm.
with me and how amazing they were. One thing that I know for sure that they put your health first. So
Mm.
doesn't matter what kind of feature there is, doesn't matter how urgent it is. If you're not well, you should not and you cannot work. You have to go and take rest.
Okay.
You have to take care of your health. And even when it comes to other health related stuff, family related stuff, they have always given us a priority to do that. So a thing that I think new budding developers as well as even older developers they kind of start forgetting is that your company has you replaceable, but you
Correct.
are irreplaceable in your own life, in your own family. So first of all,
Correct.
that is what GitHub gave such an amazing experience to me about was that. Okay, you
Mm-hmm.
focus on your family first. Next thing that came into play was the work ethics of things. So, like if you know the basics of everything, this as I'm always a very basics friendly person. I love when people know about the basics, and even when I've mentored my juniors, I've made sure that they first understand
Mm.
what they are working on.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get the basics correct, so suppose you are given a problem statement, it seems complicated enough. You probably have a software where you are managing your portfolio into all these stocks, and you are putting
Mm.
those data in, and you need a backend server that calculates the entire return that is expected over this much time. Suppose something that complicated and you have no idea what to do of it. You know that you will need more resources as a mid-senior, senior level developer. You will definitely need more resources to work with you because you,
Correct.
for the life of it, you can't understand that. Excuse me, where the AI should be used, where should I be using AI or not? Should I be using pandas, NumPy, so many things.
Mm.
So now what happens is you need to break that problem down. Break it down to the
Correct.
basics that you know. So one
Mm.
great thing about my time at GitHub was I always had the time to break everything down, rephrase the problem in a manner that I understand it, and then use it to create my plans. One thing is
Mm.
for sure that I'll have to write test cases. So first go with what are the positive things, negative things. I think while interviewing, a lot of these
Mm.
methodologies also come up in different videos online. That you should first
Mm.
rephrase the problem, then find the edge cases, find the negative test cases, then have
Mm.
an overall approach to it, brute force, then optimum solution. And that is actually what you should be showing off in the interview as well as in your regular life. You have a
Correct.
problem, even
Mm.
if you have a personal problem, break it down. Once you break it down, half the
Mm.
problem is solved. So
Correct.
always do that. Next thing is never be ashamed of asking for help. I have always been very ashamed of asking for help. I'm very badly known for that. And I think if I can go back and undo that part of my life, I would do. because there were so many people who wanted to help us with the
Mm.
future, but I was always thinking that they are busy with their future, their own work, their own family. Should I
Mm.
be disturbing them?
Correct.
But
Correct.
even if it's a little help that you need, you probably need it even for brainstorming. So although we have AI, but it's not similar to what you get by talking to
Human.
another person.
Correct.
Exactly, human
Correct.
interaction. Don't be afraid
Mm.
to do that. You and people will actually appreciate it that you're going the extra mile,
Mm.
putting your own schedule at risk because you don't know when the other
Mm.
person is going to reply. So you are actually putting
Correct.
your flexibility in there, and you're actually getting those answers by yourself. You're showing that
Correct. Correct.
initiative. And also,
Mm.
never be afraid of taking those initiatives. Doesn't matter if it's about
Mm.
writing your code. If you see there's a problem with another section of your code, not yours, maybe somebody else
Mm.
had written it a month to 5 years ago.
Correct.
If you find that problem, just report it. Start working on it if you have bandwidth. Don't
Mm.
be afraid of taking those initiatives. Always that is always appreciated by any company, be it small or large.
Correct. Correct.
So yeah, these are the 4 points that I find very that I will take forward to the rest of my life. And
Correct.
yeah, I hope that someday I get to help juniors as well, doing the same thing, understanding it.
Mm. Yeah, one thing I agree with you is that we should never be ashamed of asking for help. I totally agree with that because I am also the same kind of guy. I don't think before asking anyone because I think some inputs from their end can also be really, game changer. We should be courageous enough to ask without any thoughts or without any, pullbacks of why should I ask, or they might be busy or anything like that. So I think that is true. So we are at the end of the podcast, and thank you for this awesome, talk and awesome information. I think we are about to take a lot from this and a lot of insights. So before finishing up, I think can you give us a quick conclusion of words and that can help people wind up or maybe summarize with what we have done and
Sure.
move forward with their software development career or any career as a matter of fact.
So, finally giving the conclusion to the Hitchhiker's Guide to full software development, I would say that we should start from the basics all the way down to computer hardwares, from seeing how data structures work, algorithms work, all the way till writing your first code, finding your own language, which you are most comfortable in, which you understand best. Doesn't matter whatever is the industry standard right now, you can be the best in whatever language you want. The next goes that whenever it comes to this statement that AI is going to steal your jobs, it's not true. You finally have a rubber duck to talk to. So do not be afraid to use the power of AI in your software, and always make sure that your code quality is not the one that your AI is already generating. It's the one that you think is most development reader friendly. So for that, I actually have one recommendation for any budding engineers out there. Uh, I don't know if you are familiar with Uncle Bob, which is Robert C. Martin. He is the pioneer of
Mhm.
solid principles and clean code. So go ahead and
Okay.
watch his videos, read his books. It's available very easily, even in Kindle, and you can go ahead and just give it a read. Probably ask ChatGPT to summarize as well those books, and you will find a lot of points that actually helps you in development. And you can, at that point, while you're reading those books, you will find that how AI will not be able to replace you. Why I'm saying this over and over again, you will find in those books. And ultimately, never be afraid to ask questions. You will always need to be more agile with things. So take care of yourself, your family, and your work as per your bandwidth. Do not feel pressurized in this changing world, because pressure is the only thing that can hurt you.
Thank you for this, I think, motivational and spiritual, somewhat conclusive words.
Thank you.
And okay, so for the viewers, I will link Devyani's LinkedIn handle in the description. So make sure you check it out and request her for the connect. And if you have any questions, You can drop it in comment section. You can message her as well if she's free. Don't make sure you don't uh, disturb her always. And also, if you have anything, I'll link my LinkedIn handle as well to in the description. So if you have anything, you can connect request me as well. I'll surely respond. And the previous video, thanks for the views, and it has been great for that. And if you like the video, make sure to share it, subscribe it, and keep innovating. Thank you guys. Take care.
Peace. Bye.
And we are going to have an what was what was the title? I forgot. Sorry. We are how we should do it?
So we are, yeah, that responsible AI, responsible AI. So
One second.
yeah.
Shit. Just 1 second. I think that was about. Okay, we were not about exactly ChatGPT. We have already spoke about that, but we were about Google.